Hello and welcome back to the Champions of Happy podcast. The podcast where I talk to my friends about what makes them happy, what brings them joy, and what makes them smile. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, so if you want to give us a follow, just search for the Champions of Happy and we'll come up. There I post all sorts of things and I just like to keep it social, so yeah, get involved in the conversation of happiness. On this week's episode of the podcast, I'm talking to my former colleague and friend Zubair about what he's doing during lockdown, spending time with his family, cooking, and his new job. He's a super sweet guy. I hope you enjoy the episode. And if you are enjoying the episode on Apple reviews, be sure to give us a review. Cheeky 5 stars, and like a nice thing to say about the podcast. Because the more you do that, and the more this gets out to more people, and the more people can get involved. But now, over to the podcast. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to the podcast, Zubair.
Hi.
Hey,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you in Wales?
Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? It's lovely here. Sun's shining for once. It's been a miserable couple of weeks. It really has been. But yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. Surrounded by lovely trees and countryside. Better than London.
Yeah. Well, no, today and yesterday have been incredibly hot, actually, for a change. But
Yeah.
it's been a bit miss, but it's been alright. So I know you, because we used to be colleagues at Long Tall Sally, the fashion brand that is now sadly closing down.
Oh, they killed off her.
Yeah, she's gone.
They killed her right off. Bless her.
COVID got her.
Oh, bless. Poor Sally.
Mm.
R.I.P.
So
Sally.
We met that way. And then we both went different routes in life with different jobs and whatnot. And you do normally live in London, but you're living in Wales with your family while all of this is going on. How long have you been in Wales for then?
So I came back to Wales in April, mid-April, and I've been here since. So I should be back in London by the end of the month, because I'm now getting a bit bored of this place, and I'm missing London. So yeah, and then I could be back again towards the end of the year. So we'll see how things go.
And were you born and raised in Wales?
No. Well, I was raised in Wales, but I was actually born in Bristol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I've moved around a bit, so I'm a bit of a gypsy. So no, I was born in Bristol. I moved to Cardiff when I was about 7 or 8. So I've been to junior school here, high school here, and then I went to college up north in Manchester, uni in Yorkshire, and I've lived in London since for the past 10, 13 years, I think.
Did you ever have the Welsh accent, or were you too old by that point to really get it?
I don't know. I didn't. No. My brother, when we moved, he was a baby, so he's picked up the Cardiff accent, whereas I don't. I think sometimes the odd word will come out with a slight twang. But other than that, yeah, no.
Can you give us a
People say I sound more northern than Welsh, or so I don't know.
I wouldn't say you, because I'm Northern and I don't sound Northern. I think you're kind of in the same camp as me, where we've moved around a lot as kids and never really picked up an accent.
Yeah.
But can you attempt a Welsh accent at all?
I can't. Then it starts sounding very Asian. It's really weird.
Well,
you can say like, "Whose coat is that jacket?" or "Whose boots are them shoes?" But yeah, no, it's just a bit weird. But I love how it's
to say in
going.
Wales. Are those common sentences to say in Wales?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, it's fine. It's all right. But yeah, no, it's all right. I love how's it going. So that's a bit Cardiff. But yeah, it's not something I would go out of my way to kind of pick up an accent on.
So where in Wales are you then, if not Cardiff?
So we live in Cardiff.
All right.
Yeah.
I see.
So we live in Cardiff. Yes.
For people who don't know who you are, how dare you? Can you please just give us a brief introduction to yourself, what you do, and who you are? Oh
God. So hi. What is this, like a dating profile now?
I mean, it could be.
Oh my God!
Right?
No way. So what? No. What? Yeah. So Zubair Munsif. I'm 37. I am now living in Cardiff for the foreseeable future. I hope not too long. No, I'm currently working for a skincare brand, which is pretty amazing, and the perks are really, really good. Never thought I would get the job, and actually,
wait, where are my free samples?
Hmm?
Where are my free samples?
I'm still waiting for my free samples.
Uh,
That's one of the reasons why I'm coming back to Cardiff, to London soon, is to pick up my what do you call it, like a little allocation that I need. So yeah. But yeah, no, it's I don't know. How do you explain yourself? Like, yeah,
so your job itself, what is your role? Without, I mean, you won't
okay.
go into the company,
So
but like, what do you do?
now I'm working in supply chain. So I am managing inbound of stock coming in into our warehouse, which is in Amsterdam, and then we disperse that stock to all of our stores. And then, yeah, so it's kind of managing all of that, kind of coming in and out of our DC, shipping, and all the rest of it. When I was at Long Tall Sally, when we were there together, I was more on the merchandising side. So I was doing like all the money stuff. So we had the buyers and we had the merchandisers, and we would kind of look after the money and making sure that we're buying the right stock, right? In between all the cake eating and hugging and laughing and joking around. I miss those days.
Yeah, Long Tall Sally was great. I mean,
So much fun.
We had a good team there. Yeah, so Long Tall Sally was great. We had a really good team there, and we had a nice.
I know. I think at that time when we were there, it was like kind of peak fun.
Yeah.
Because the team was just so much fun. Like we had, I don't know if I can name drop, but yeah, can I name drop?
You can name drop, I suppose. Don't do surnames, I suppose. But yeah.
I suppose like we had like Phoebe and Daisy, Cast and Sandra. It was just insane. It was just constant laughs, and then Nats as well. But yeah, and then yeah, just seeing you every morning and getting a morning hug and oh yeah, and then like
the listeners, just so you know what my job was, I wasn't like an official hugger. I was just
he was officially office hugger.
I was official. I mean, I essentially became that, but I was the front of house, reception, heart of home, then turned office manager. I welcomed people into the office and made the office a nice, sociable, happy place. Yeah, so it was one of my favorite jobs, actually. It's a job at the time I really needed at the time, not just for my career, but like just for my
sanity.
Yeah, for my previous job was. So that came at the right time, and I got to meet all you lovely people. And
I know.
And then you all went and did different things and left me one by one.
No, you left first. I left after. Exactly. Thank you very much. You left me. I think one of my.
You were trying before me to leave.
I was trying for a long time, but I wasn't getting anywhere. And then you left. It was like, what? You're leaving me here alone? And then after that, I found actually a role with a menswear brand. So I left Long Tall Sally in November 2018, and then went to this menswear brand, which was really nice. And then I was sadly made redundant from them at the start of this year. This was before the whole kind of COVID thing really kicked off.
Yeah.
And so that was a pretty miserable period because it's a horrible period to go through, like when you're being made redundant. And then then I think ESOP, where I work now, it was one of the first places that I applied for, and I never expected a result like a callback. And then 4 interviews later, they offered me the job, so I was completely made up, and then in March they offered me the job, and I was like, yeah, okay, fine, ready to come into the office. And then my manager's like, nope, I'm going to be working from home, so I'm sending you your laptop, and I'll see you online on Monday. So I've actually not gone into the office.
So other than the interview stages, have you actually met any of your colleagues?
No, so I only met my manager once physically.
Jeez, that's so strange.
I've only met my manager once. So I've met most of my team once, and they were for interviews. Mm-hmm. And that was it. So I've been into the office twice, and they were for interviews. The office was gorgeous. It was so nice. It's like the perfect Instagram material, I'm telling you. It's so beautiful and so gorgeous. And then 23rd of March is when I started. And that's the week we went into lockdown. So like, okay, hi, online.
Do you feel part of the team doing things on Zoom and online?
No, see, this is the kind of couple of conversations I have had with my manager, because he's very conscious, and I think the company has become very, very conscious of this whole kind of working from home. And I'm not obviously the first person to join, since the start of lockdown. There's about 10 of us, I think. And I have had that kind of open conversations with him where like you do feel kind of disconnected from the brand, or do feel kind of disconnected from what it is that you're doing. I have my job, I know what I'm doing now, kind of.
I know.
And it's like, well, yeah, great, I'm doing my job, but I don't have that relationship with it as of yet. Whereas if I was in an office, if I was constantly surrounded by the product, if I was constantly surrounded by people who are working there, then you're creating that relationship, right? It's very difficult to create that relationship when you're working from a dining room table.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, and that's it. So they're very conscious of that. But it's one of those things that you just kind of have to deal with it. Hopefully, I will be able to see them soon. If I do come back to London, we'll arrange like a day in the office or whatever, and socially distance. But yeah, it's been tough. But yeah, I'm just grateful that I am actually working. Really, really am. Because the previous company that I was working for that made me redundant, they ended up closing down, which is really sad, really, really sad. But yeah. But I mean, I'm working. I mean, they as a now Aesop as a brand, it's like, oh my god, this stuff is so nice. It's like seriously, it's so gorgeous. And like, if you go into any of the stores, it's like, oh my god, I want everything. But yeah,
I do need some new moisturizer. I used to. My go-to is Rituals, samurai brand. But maybe I'll have to switch unless one of them wants to sponsor the podcast. That'd be really, really great. Thanks.
I don't think we do sponsorships, but yeah.
Now we're going for a break. Aesop, I love you. Please give me moisturizer. So you're doing lockdown with family. Who does that entail?
So mum, dad, and sister.
Okay, so it's not too many of them.
Yeah.
My brother lives around. Other brothers?
No, I've just got one brother. So I'm the middle one. My brother lives with his wife around the corner, about 10 minutes away from us.
Mm-hmm.
And they've just had a baby.
You're an uncle.
I'm an uncle. Yeah, I've become an uncle during lockdown, but I can't hold him.
Oh, cool.
Which is really sad. Really sad.
What have they called him?
Ismail.
Oh, that's
Ismail,
sweet.
yeah. So bless him. He's now what, 3 weeks old, I think.
A COVID baby.
He's literally a COVID baby. So he was everything's good. All he's doing is sleeping and pooping. My brother the other day, my brother sent me a picture because he woke up in the middle of the night and had done like a punami. So basically he had shat himself, and it so much that it had just come out of the nappy all the way up his back. And my brother thought that it'd be hilarious if he sent me a picture of it.
Nice, lucky you.
Oh, rather you than me. But yeah, so it's hilarious to see my brother kind of dealing with this kind of stuff.
And how old's your sister? Is she working?
Yeah, she's working. She works for a charity, which is dealing with women who suffer from domestic violence.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So they're very serious. It's not getting any quieter. And actually, issues have problems, as you probably heard or whatever. Issues are increasing during the whole lockdown period. So she is very busy at the moment.
And is she working from home as well then, or?
She's working from home as well, yeah. So
do you have enough space to like not be in the same place where you work?
No, like we both work in our dining room. So she's at one on the dining table, out on the other. And sometimes I hear her conversations, and sometimes she's hearing my conversations, and it's like, oh, okay. I think she's
kind of in the office.
Kind of, yeah.
Ish,
yeah, exactly. I mean, I think the first day I came back, and I think on Monday, I was at that dining table. We had a hilarious little chat, like, oh, like you kind of create that office kind of bants. Like, hi, how was your weekend? It was hilarious. The next day, it was like, yeah, fine. What do you want now?
Did you hear from Karen and accounts though? What a bitch.
Exactly. Oh my god. It's like what you call it? Like water fountain talk or whatever it is.
Yeah. Water cooler talk.
Water cooler. Yeah, that's the one.
Water fountain.
Now there's none of that. But yeah, no, it's good to have company. Whereas when I was working in London, literally I was by myself. Like, oh, it's a bit boring.
Because whereabouts are you in London?
I live in Walthamstow, East London.
Yeah.
Yes, up and coming.
Sure.
Excuse me, it is. Thank you very much. Have you seen the amount of coffee shops in that area?
I feel like
It's
everyone in
not.
London says their area is up and coming, and I'm like, when
It
was it
is.
going?
Walthamstow
Like,
is. It really is. We have an amazing coffee brand called Perky Blenders around the corner from us. And there's a sourdough bread bakery place.
oh, you're so gentrified.
So gentrified. There's a really nice pizza place called Sodo. And then yard sale pizza as well. Really, really. If any of these places want to send me free food or whatever, go ahead. But yeah, no, it is up and coming.
Okay, I'm pulling you like a posh.
And actually, Walthamstow was voted the first London borough of culture last year. So there was some sort of really cool stuff going on last year.
Oh, cool.
Thank you very
much.
Now
I know when we used to work at London Sally, you used to go quite a fair bit. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, about every 5-6 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from London to Cardiff, and you get the bus, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a long journey. I'm being 6'3" and having long legs. I'm just like,
I'd rather. Yeah, I know. I'd rather pay like £15 for a ticket than £90 for a train ticket.
Very, very true. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it just means that I get to watch a film in peace, and a bit more, whatever, and have a kid. Yeah. That's fine.
I know you and your family are quite close, and you're a bit of a mummy's boy, from what I remember.
Yeah.
Just your smile when you say that.
Yeah, I am. I'm not. I'm not ashamed to say that.
I bet she's thrilled to have you back then.
She is. She is. I think both my parents are actually. I think my relationship with my dad has been a bit. It's all right, but we've never had, because I've lived away from home for so long, and he's a very atypical kind of male Asian from that kind of background in terms of all he did was work. Like, we never had that kind of father-son relationship. But it's like a couple of times he's just come up to me and given me a hug, or given me a kiss on the head and whatever. And I'm like, are you okay? Is there something wrong?
Am I dying?
Am I dying? Is there something you need to tell me? What
do you know?
I know, but I think he's just really appreciative that I'm actually home. And I'm actually kind of kicking his ass into getting stuff done around the house as well. Because he's retired, and so all he does is kind of sit around and either watch TV or nap or go for walks and stuff like this. And I'm like, right, come on, you need to get out into the garden, you need to do this, and you need to do this, or this needs repairing, this needs fixing, and making sure that he's not that idle. So I think he's kind of appreciative of that kind of company as well. My mum's always glad to have me home. So yeah.
Oh, she hasn't got sick of you then?
No, as if. My sister may have. But yeah, my mum would never get rid of me.
And I know cooking for you is a big, big, big thing. And I see on your Instagram stories a lot. I think I saw the other day you were frying something.
Yes, very healthy. No, so on Friday it was Eid.
Oh, of course.
So a religious celebration. And then so my mum and I were making dinner for that. So we just had a nice little a dinner for that. So that was lovely. But yeah, I mean, I have learned most of my cooking from, especially my Asian cooking, from mum. And whereas my sister and my brother, they're useless. Like, my brother has only recently started to cook since he left and moved into his house. My sister refuses to cook. So I'm like, well, I have to carry on some kind of family tradition and learn these recipes or learn these kind of things. So I have to do it, and I enjoy it. It's time for me to kind of think. I've not done it as much since I've been home because my mom's cooking. But yeah, exactly. Why would I do it? Why would I do it? But yeah, no. I'll when she does cook back, I'll go and sit in the kitchen with her and chat and just watch what she's doing.
Oh, nice. So what did you make for Eid?
So, okay, it was on Friday. It wasn't meant to be like the heat wave. So the heat wave that you had in London, for us, it finished by about 1:00. It was ridiculous. Like, in the morning, it was all nice and sunny. We're like, yeah, we're going to have a barbecue. So the night before, we bought all these chicken wings and lamb ribs and lamb chops. And we were making we're going to make kebabs and everything else, and had bowls of salad and all the rest of it. And then by about 1 o'clock, like literally dark clouds everywhere. And I was like, this is not the heat wave that we were promised. And it just got colder and colder and colder and colder. And by about 4 o'clock, like it started spitting. And I was like, oh, there goes our barbecue. So literally plans changed. Right, okay, fine, what can we do? Okay, we can grill this, we can fry this. And yeah, so it was like all that kind of stuff that was for a barbecue. But we just cooked it normally, really. Which was fine. It was lovely. Obviously, it tasted good. But yeah, it was no barbecue. So I was very disappointed.
Oh. But does Eid, and correct me, I could be wrong on this, does Eid last more than one day?
Yeah. So this Eid, we only have 2. This one, you can celebrate it 3 days after the Hajj. So the Hajj happened on Thursday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you can celebrate Eid. So we did Eid on Friday. We celebrated Eid on Friday. We had family members in Pakistan who celebrated it yesterday.
Oh. What is that? Yeah. Sorry, what's the Hajj?
The pilgrimage.
Ah,
so the pilgrimage.
I need to do a bit of Googling. Don't I?
Every year in Mecca. And obviously this year it was usually about 2 million people go every year. This year it was massively, like no one was allowed to go apart from anyone who was local. And even then it was all socially distanced. It's really weird to see like massively reduced, and everyone's kind of walking apart 2 meters distance and wearing face masks and stuff. I mean, when you see those kind of images of all this kind of stuff happening, it's really kind of creepy. It's like 28 days later. Yeah, but yeah, no, it was so that was on Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess Eid this year was very different from what Eid would normally.
Yeah, and I said to my mum, I said, it just doesn't feel like Eid at all. I mean, it's just really weird. Like there's no kind of buzz, there's no kind of excitement. So it's just like it was very muted. Whereas the one after Ramadan is like, okay, fine, yeah, I've been fasting for a month, so I've got something to look forward to. Whereas this one, it was very, very muted. Like, oh, okay, just came and gone.
Well, I guess the silver lining, the next one, when hopefully everything goes back to normal and we can do stuff normally, it will be bigger, better, shinier, happier,
I hope so.
more foodier.
I hope so.
What are your go-to things to cook that you enjoy making when you're home by yourself and then your mum's not cooking for you?
For me, it's like I make a lamb curry. It's always good. You can never go with a decent lamb curry. Like never. And it might be a bit long and processy, but it's really hearty and warming, and I love it. And if I'm really kind of wanting something which is homely and fulfilling and satisfying, and it's usually like a Sunday or Saturday thing, and I'll make like a biryani.
Ooh.
And that'll take a few hours, and I'm left with like leftovers next week. I'm like, okay, I made too much. And sometimes I just have to freeze. So it's like, okay, fine, that's fine. But yeah, that's really kind of a big thing for me. It's like, yeah, that is home, that is comfort. And so yeah.
Oh, cute. So you are a single man.
Yes.
You are. Have you done any online dating, house party, Tinder action while on lockdown?
No. Oh God, no. Even when I was in London, like, yeah, you were on the apps and stuff like that, but so much time wasting. And obviously, then when the whole thing was kind of kicking off, it was like, there is no way I'm stepping out the house just to meet some random guy.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. And then here, it's like, I mean, my mum's diabetic, and she has had health issues before. So there is no way that I'm going to risk going out to meet some guy and then come back home. It's just I couldn't have that on my conscience, and it just feels weird. I mean, I have talked to a couple of people online who I've met through certain reputable apps. The reputable ones. I don't know which ones they are.
Scruff.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. Like, they are all in London, and I'm like, okay, fine. Maybe if I come back to London, if we're still talking, whatever, then we can meet up for a coffee or whatever. So we'll see. But at the moment, like, it would be good. to kind of be on the dating scene and have that kind of normality, but it's as and when it feels right and appropriate. And at the moment, being at home here, I'm not going to risk anything.
No, I've had like one or two friends who live by themselves who've gone on first dates, but they've gone to the park and they've sat like 2 meters away from the guy, and it's like, this is nice, but also strange. But
like weird,
I mean, for some it's worked, and for others it didn't.
I've seen
they did by themselves, so they could go home and like they wouldn't like going back to a family or anything.
Well, I've seen these pictures of these guys or whoever like having first dates on Zoom. You know, and there was this one guy, I can't remember where I saw on Facebook or Twitter, I can't remember, but like he put his laptop on a desk and he had like a candlelight dinner, and I'm like, really? With the guy on Zoom, I'm like, oh, okay. That's just weird for me. I'm like, if it works for you, that's fine. You do you. But for me, it just seems a bit odd. But yeah, who knows? When I come back to London, and hopefully, I would like to start meeting people. But yeah, we'll see.
Were you talking to anyone before all of this happened and it got shut down because of lockdown?
Yes, I was. I was still kind of talking, but it's just weird. It's like I've been away from that person longer than I have been than I knew them.
Contact with them.
So now it's kind of just created a weird kind of situation. And you know, I'm not gonna commit to anything in the middle of a lockdown when I'm 100 miles away. I'm sorry, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's the point.
Exactly. And then when I come, if and when we come out of this, who knows what happens. But yeah, it would be nice to have a companion. But yeah.
Oh. Well, if there are any single peoples out there, Zubair he cooks. He's a family man. He's relatively attractive.
I have nice eyes. Mention the eyes.
He's got eyes. He's got eyes. He's got good skin.
No, beautiful eyes.
Oh, beautiful eyes. Beautiful eyes. Yeah, beautiful eyes.
You remember?
Good hair. Good hugger. You work out a lot as well. How? Yeah, because I remember you used to go to the gym quite a fair bit. Have you still managed to upkeep that?
Oh my god, no. So yeah, like I bought skipping ropes and resistance bands to start because everyone had bought weights. And I kind of started off working out in like the gardens and stuff like that. But then when I came home, I was like, yeah, that just fell out the window. Yeah, it really, really did. I bought, so it's just not really happened. I do occasionally go out for a run now and again. But yeah, any kind of exercise, I'm like, I just don't have. It's just weird, isn't it? I just don't have that motivation anymore. I was actually meant to be in Cardiff like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks from max. So I didn't bring much stuff with me. So I didn't bring my proper running trainers or like proper gym, proper running kit. So now I'm kind of making do with some average trainers and like a t-shirt and shorts when I'm running. So yeah, actually not one best. But yes, I mean, and yeah, 2 weeks turned into almost 4 months.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I know. I did manage to buy a set of weights, I think about a while ago, but then by sheer stupidity, they got sent to my London address rather than here. I know. So I was like, what? That was frustrating. But yeah, again, it's one of those things like, it's not a priority at the moment. It's like,
Sure.
I mean, what am I going to do? Just take pictures and like thirst trap and put it on Instagram or Twitter, you know? It's like, yeah, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Give the people what they want.
That's what everyone. That is literally what everyone is doing now. They are literally taking pictures in their shorts in their bedrooms. It's all that standard pose. Have you noticed? It's either with the arm up over their head, as if they're stretching a tricep, or they're sat in front of a mirror on the floor with one leg up. Do you get me? That's like
no, I get you. Yeah.
Like that. And then they've got this kind of Adidas sock on.
Okay.
And some trainers.
Maybe you just need to open up who you follow. I went through a phase where I went through I don't really use Twitter anymore as much, but the podcast is on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Just find us at Champions of Happy. I went on to my Instagram and Twitter and kind of did have a bit of a cull. I was going through what I followed. I'm like, actually, I don't need to be viewing this all the time. And then I just replaced it with puppy accounts and dog accounts. And I'm like,
huskies. Huskies do. I mean, now my feed is huskies and plants.
I
I really want a husky. Like they're absolutely gorgeous. He said, "Oh, so beautiful."
Mm.
I'm following this one guy. He's got three huskies. He's
Mm.
got three huskies. One of them's called Lola, I think. And he's got two little boys. Like I think one's about 5, one's 2. And just to see the way they interact with the dogs, it's so cute. And like, oh my god! And like this little dog, he'll go into the little boy's room in the morning and kind of lick him and kiss him, and then they'll have a little afternoon nap together. And I'm like, oh my god, this is like the cutest thing I have ever seen. So
Oh,
yeah, it's so
see,
cute.
less basic
Um,
boys, more puppies.
I know, right? Puppies and
We
flowers.
we've been looking at future dogs. We can't get a dog right now, but what we like in the future, and we kind of thinking a
What's that?
Shina Inu. It's I'll have to send you a picture later. I'm not very good at explaining the breed, but it's like a fox essentially, but it's a
Oh,
dog. And I found 2 accounts on Instagram: Haribo the Shiba, Shinu keeps. I can't get the dog. I can't pronounce the breed. Haribo the Shinu and Kevin the Shinu. Yeah, and I've just been. There have been days where I'm like, "Oh, do you want to watch Netflix?" I'm like, "No, I'm gonna watch their YouTube channel and just watch their life as a dog." And
my god, that's so
there was one
I
of
need,
them.
I need to see this dog.
Haribo has been they've been progressing, showing it. It's basically a vlog, but for a dog. A dog vlog, showing it from a puppy to how it is now. And they did an episode of like where it would normally go, but COVID's happening, so it can't go to its regular parks and see its regular friends. And it's like, oh, this is really sad.
The poor dog is missing out on its social life.
Uh,
Mm.
um,
Yeah,
do you see a dog soon in your future, or?
I'd rather have a man first in my future. To be honest, I'd rather have that
Look,
first.
get a
And then I don't.
puppy, and then they're a massive man magnet.
This is very true. This
Mm.
is very, very true. But yeah, I'm not gonna have a dog by myself. It's just
But
no.
it's annoying because like now working from home, now is the time to get a pet because you are around and you can look. I mean, to be fair, looking after a dog is a full-time
This is,
thing, while balancing your work. It's hard enough. Yeah.
yeah,
So
this is rent. Maybe if I could rent a dog for a couple of months. I don't know. Can you do that?
there is the app, but I don't know if it's still a thing. But Borrow My Doggy.
Oh, really?
So you got to sign up, and there's a whole process, but you got to register. And there are people in your area who sometimes just need a dog walker or just need someone to look after your dog or something.
Oh,
Yeah, Borrow My Doggy if you want to sponsor the podcast. That'd be great. Someone please give me free stuff. The moment I get a mattress brand, that's the moment I know I've got it. I've done it. Or Squarespace, that'd be great. Yeah. Anyway, off topic. The question I've been asking everyone on the podcast is: when everything Magic Wand is better and normal again, and happy and fine, what are the first things you're looking forward to doing the most?
Oh God. Going somewhere for a nice coffee. Like I miss going to like nice kind of coffee shops and having like a nice overpriced coffee. Small what do you call them, highlights, and having dinner with my mates. I've not seen them in 4 or 5 months properly. And we used to meet up quite regularly, and it was for me like they are my ride or die. Like I love them to bits, and I've not seen them. Like we've had a couple of kind of Zoom calls and all the rest of it, or WhatsApp calls. But yeah, just to be able to sit around and have dinner with them and just chat and be stupid and just tell each other off and all the rest of it, and have that kind of physical kind of group therapy. But yeah, it'd be good to kind of catch up and have a nice pretentious dinner with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then yeah, just to be able to kind of comfortably go out. It's like now I'm going out, it's like well, I'm scared of like where I'm going. So even if it was just to kind of just walk around central London and go down to South Bank, which is like an amazing place to be, whatever, I love it. Yeah, just to be able to do that, like without any kind of fear. Yes, it would be nice to kind of get back into some kind of health routine. So I think, yeah, that's like, yeah, as and when.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, just to be able to have that kind of freedom to meet my friends first. And I just have the kind of those kind of things I've taken for granted. So yeah, I'm a simple.
Nice.
I'm a simple person.
Yeah. Have you found any new hobbies, or even doing anything new while you've been on lockdown to keep yourself busy and occupied
So,
and sane?
so I think when I came home, I bought my mum a puzzle. And and it's really cute. I mean, some people might think, "Oh my God, what is this person is just like
Like a
insane."
jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, jigsaw puzzle.
Right.
And so we were doing that, and I found it really therapeutic, like really therapeutic, because it was just a way for you to switch off. And so, like, literally, my mom and I, we sat there, and the first puzzle we took, like, it took us about 2 weeks to do,
God.
um, because I could only do it for like a bit after work or whatever in the evenings. And bless her, she needs glasses and everything else, and the pieces are small, and she's struggling with how it's all going together.
Hmm.
But I found that really, really therapeutic. And then as soon as we finished it, I bought another one, which took us about a month to do because it was just insanely difficult. But yeah, no, that's been really cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to read a bit more now as well.
Okay.
So
I know you're an avid reader. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I've still not dropped that kind of some in, and I still like my morning routine. So I will always make sure that I wake up in the morning, shower, I'll have my coffee, and I'll have a book, and for about half an hour, I'll have that time to myself to read. For me, that is therapy. That is like
Nice.
escapism. It's my time. Leave me alone. No one is awake at that time anyway.
Hmm.
For some reason I'm still waking up at 7 a.m. Like I don't
Yeah.
start working. For some reason I don't start working till 9. I'm waking up at 7. By 7:30, I'm showered and I'm ready. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'll just have like a nice little breakfast to myself, a
Mm.
coffee, and I'll sit down and read the book. My sister, on the other hand, she literally traipses down about 8:45. She's showered herself, but she's like, why did you get up so early? And I'm like, one, it's routine, and two, it's like for me, it's my time,
Hmm.
where I'm not having to deal with you or anyone else. So yeah, so that's for me, that's important as well.
That's sweet. I'm curious. What were the pictures of the jigsaws?
They were, oh God, what was it? I think one was like over a Greek island, and the other one was, this place in Italy. It's like a coastal place where like there are all these houses on the cliff, and they're all different colors, and it's a nice little bay. It was really sweet.
Oh, and do you have
Yeah.
any book reading recommendations?
Oh my God. So at the moment, I'm reading a book called "This Is Going to Hurt." I think a
Oh,
guy called.
the comedy Doctor Diary one.
Yeah. So he is. Yeah. So he. Yeah. So he's. He used to work in a gyne college, the gyne clinic, and the like what's it called, pregnancy maternity kind of clinic, whatever it is.
Mm.
And so he was keeping a diary during his period as when he was a junior doctor, and after. It's hilarious.
Mm.
It's so funny. It's a bit gross sometimes. Some of the things that people do, but yeah, it's absolutely hilarious. So yeah, so that's definitely a good read.
I've read half of it. I need to jump. I'm terrible with books. I start them, I
Mm.
never finish them. I've been reading The Beach since last October, and I
Oh
just,
really? Oh.
yeah, I was just like, I like it, but I've also find like nothing happens in it, and I'm like, just constantly waiting for something. I'm free like 3/4 through it, so I am nearly finished, but I'm like,
Nothing
and
happened.
next, what's gonna happen? And I won't watch the movie until I've read the book. I'm like, ah. But I need to, my reading habits, I think because of Instagram and social media, and my attention span is so much shorter than it used to be.
It used to be, yeah, exactly, and that's really bad. Damn these
Mm.
social media apps. Have you
Ah.
got TikTok?
Do I have TikTok? No, I have done one or two TikToks. I used TikTok during Eurovision. Me and my chorus did a make your own Eurovision video. So I
All
did
right.
one to Euphoria, and I just basically used all the effects via TikTok, saved them on my computer and edited it
Oh,
together.
are you still
But I've not.
singing?
Hmm?
You're still singing?
Kind of. Yeah. So, listeners, I'm part of the London Gay Men's Chorus,
Yeah.
and at the moment we can't sing outside or together in rehearsal spaces, but we've been doing a few online Zoom stuff. Some of it works, some of it doesn't work. It's a process that we are learning. Sometimes yeah, I'm also not the best singer in the world, and I need to be around other people who can sing to really tune in. So over Zoom it's not quite the same. And I'm also super conscious of my neighbours as well. Like, how loud am I singing? How off key am I singing? And I'm like,
Beautiful.
thank you so much. My single is now available on iTunes. So I think we are coming to the end of the podcast, Zoo. But
wow, that's gone by fast.
So fast. But thank you so much, so much for joining me on this new venture.
No.
Nice to see your face and hear your lovely
It's
voice
nice
again.
to see your face and chat to you. It's been too long.
Do you do you want people to find you? If so, where can they find you? Like, what would you like to plug, if anything?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'm using that the most, or Twitter. See, I use Instagram for like food and puppies and plants and the occasional selfie. Twitter I actually use for like news and political views and rants or whatever.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm on them.
What are your handles?
Yeah, I don't know. Zubair82. Zubair82 on Instagram.
Okay.
And on Twitter, I can't remember. Zebedee82.
Okay, Zebedee. As in the Magic Roundabout?
Yeah.
Ah, cute.
I know.
Well, thank you again. This has been lovely. I kind of just feel like I want to go have a coffee and read a book now for an hour and have some me time.
You should.
Myself.
You should. I actually did that this morning.
Maybe I should. Maybe I should. Okay. Well, thank you. Hopefully I'll see you in London soon. And hopefully we'll go and do something when it's safe to do so.
Definitely. Take care.
All right. Bye, Zubair.
Bye.